adventure.
Hello,
Yes,
hello. I think we are live. We're here. We made it. We made it. We made it. Please, if someone's here, send a message so we can see here.
Yes.
Send a message.
Gosh. It's so exciting. I've guested so many of these, but I've never been a host. Brian, and I'm in my jammies.
Well, good for you. Well, it's 12:30 in the morning in Sweden. You're such a sweetheart to stay up so late.
Oh my goodness.
Excellent. I think if anyone is here, please send us a message so we know we're live. We're filling in for Annie Leib tonight. We're on her platform, so we had to make sure some technical things were working.
Comments.
I see some new ones. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
Hopefully everything is coming in.
I think so. I hope so.
How are you, Brian?
I'm well. It's really great to see you. It's really great to see you. It's very fun. And again, thank you so much for staying up so late. And a special welcome to all of Annie's tribe and viewers who are here tonight. I feel like I need to have like an Annie tie-dye sweatshirt that says, Philly on it or something. So, yeah. Oh, that's great. People are here. We are good to go.
Oh my goodness. My 3 kids fell asleep. They are all in my bed, aligned next to one another. It's like they're in check. And I'm so happy to be here with you, Brian.
It's a real joy.
Annie's amazing network.
It's really, really special. Yeah. It's really special. And thank you for everyone who is joining live. We see it here. Thanks for your patience. And it's just really special. And maybe for those who are watching, we can just kind of frame who we are, and then we can just kind of take the conversation from there. Jenny, why don't you lead out?
Sure. So, Jenny Landgren, I'm calling from Sweden. It is midnight here. That is why I'm in my jammies on my couch. I'm lounging. And I am keeping it real. I'm not going to show up in a blazer in the middle of night. No. This is the relaxed state. So I'm happy to share that with you. I am a behavioral science expert for management and business development. I do this through 5 different offices in my region where I coach executives. I counsel employees and map out work environments. And I get to do so much. I feel like a kid in a candy store.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you also have your wonderful, you just wrote something very special as well, correct? So share about that.
Oh, the author side of me? Yes, I actually have 2 books published.
Beautiful.
Brian. And there are 2 other books coming where I have my own chapter in those books. So, beautiful. And that's something that I really wanted to talk with you about today, because authoring is my exhale. And we are so much about the breath, and I love playing around with words. And it's just been on my mind lately that breath is inhale and exhale. And authoring is my exhale, and inhale is about being present with myself and receiving and becoming aware in my own adventure. And there's a balance to keep in between those 2. So I'd love to hear more about you, like for you to share, and then maybe we have something to.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I didn't know it was 2 books. So that's very inspiring, as I'm in early stages of wanting to do the same. And so I love how you put it about the exhale. And we're going to dive into that, because I think that's a great place to start. And for myself, for people that are watching that I'm not familiar with, Brian Bachand, coming to you from Toronto. And I'm the founder of Evolution. And I get to coach with executives and professional leaders, organizations, and really help people align with their deepest desires to make the greatest impact in their work, in the mission of the world. So it's really special. And Jenny and I had the privilege of being invited by Annie to become coaches within her framework. And I remember we had to go, I think it was in August is when it started. We had to have a kind of a training. Remember, it was on a Saturday. And at the end, Annie, we went through all the letters and kind of the training. And at the end, we were going to be paired up with someone else to practice the breath framework as coaches. So when we are coaching on with their clients, and it was a real joy. I remember I was really excited when I saw that we were paired up, and it's been really special because it's not only it's been great to learn from you, but it's just been a wonderful friendship and to support each other.
Yeah. Yeah. We have that thing where it just flows. Yeah. You know, there's no need to prepare anything. You just show up, you're authentic, you're yourself, and we create something together always. So
absolutely,
it's a gift, Brian. It's a joy on my part as well, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will you tell me more about this book? I am so intrigued to hear more.
Yeah, I'm in early stages, and it's really interesting. You know, it was actually my partner just recently. It was like, Brian, just write, just start writing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to focus on so many things right now. And he said, that's the best time to write.
Yes.
And it's really just got me back into it. And I think I had to exhale out the sense of expectation that I have to know my core message right away. I have to know this. And it's more about just letting the stories, the message, what it is from my heart that needs to come out. And that just really was in the past couple of weeks that kind of ignited to come back. And I really believe for myself, the way I speak is, I think, how I write, using story to illustrate, and which is really, really special. So
yeah. I love that. And the way I talk about it is keeping it at soul level. Because, and I have an amazing book coach that's been with me on my journey, Linda Vetrus-Nichols. It's been super, super helpful to have someone just help me get back to me. Mm-hmm. Because that book already exists. Like, you're carrying that within you. There's no need to make it. Mm-hmm. It's about allowing it to come forth. And sometimes we get in our own way.
Yes.
Hey, Terry, so good to see you.
Yes, sometimes thank you, everybody who's joining. It's great to see you all here.
Yes. And we get stuck in our heads so often, and we complicate things. And on soul level, it's really there. The message is already there, and it's really simple when you let that.
Absolutely, you know, and
what it is.
And I think that's something that you said that's so beautiful. It's simple, and I think I know for myself, I sometimes overcomplicate it. You know, and it really is already there, because the other day something just flowed out of me. Like, it just was, there was an energy, there was an excitement. I felt like I was reliving the experience in the moment, and it was just really, you know, really, really special. And I agree with you. And it's great to have Linda here tonight, who I've spoken with as well. Linda, thank you so much. Yeah, very special. I love seeing all your things on LinkedIn and all that you're doing. So it's wonderful.
She's super. She's so super. Yeah.
So tell me, when you exhale writing out, what does that do for you? How are you in that moment? Do you set a particular way to do your writing? Do you have like a ritual? How is it when you're in that flow?
Well, to start out, I believe that creativity that is not expressed will show as anxiety. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that has proven to be true in my life many times. So it's much about becoming aware of, okay, now there's something that I get to release, I get to express, I get to pay this forward, I get to create something out of this. And sometimes it's not always beautiful. Sometimes there's just something urging, there's something pushing, and it has to come out. And this is my exhale. I believe that for some people, it can be painting. It can be walking in the woods and just like speaking to the earth. It can
Mm-hmm.
it can show in so many different ways. But whenever I sense that, if my children, so I'm single parenting 3 children, small
Mm-hmm.
children, 7, 7, and 8. They're my little herd.
Yeah.
But
All
I
in
will,
your bed, you said. All in your bed tonight.
yes, yes, that's why they all fit in my bed. So I will seek out that moment when I can just pause and slow down and truly listen and be present with myself, because the message is, there's always a message.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no grand ritual. It's really about honoring myself and paying
Mm-hmm.
myself that respect.
That's beautiful.
What's that like for you?
You know, there is a sense of the connection from within. When I do write from my heart, when I write from that space, it is a sense of honoring also individuals. A lot of the things I found, or I looked back at some things I've written, it's always been in relationship to individuals that have either something, a conversation, an experience. And it's also a sense of honoring how they impacted my life in that moment and what I was able to learn and to bring that forward. So I find that's a real gift. And so when I'm writing certain things, and if it's related to an experience with someone or something I learned from an experience with going through with something with someone, it really is powerful. And I find the lesson from that moment that maybe from years ago is even deeper now.
Hmm.
And that just is my deep exhale of
Hmm.
wow. It's like after you exhale, sometimes you just pause in the moment. That's like the pause. Absolutely.
So beautiful. There's there's something in the co-creation of things and of life, and just as we're doing now, we're just sharing. That's also the source of the next inspiration.
Absolutely.
It's just an
Absolutely.
ever flowing
Yeah.
line of connectedness within, connectedness with you, connectedness within, connectedness with others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so beautiful to be in the rhythm of that and seeing that, yes, it is beautiful to me. It's also for the greater good of everyone. That
Yes.
I do share, that I continue sharing, that I do show up and share my
Mm-hmm.
story.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, was that always easy for you, Brian? Is there a point in your life where you started claiming that space for yourself?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, my story, which, I often will speak about too, is, I'd been a priest and then decided to freely leave and start a whole new life. And I've said this before, I never hid that aspect of my life. But when I left and I went to New York City to start a whole new life, there was a sense deep inside of me that I wanted to prove, probably to myself and to others, that I could do this and I could
Mhm.
make impact. And when I decided many years later to start evolution, I knew in my heart I had to own the story. I had to own my story, and I was really nervous. And I think it was because there was still fear about how people would perceive me or what would people think. And going through that process to really speak about it, it was really amazing. I remember going through some of the coaching training, and I remember I brought it up in a session, and a woman looked at me and I said, "I'm really nervous. I know I need to own my story. I want to incorporate it into my work." And she said, "Brian, let me ask you a question. What if people love it? What if people love
Mm,
your story?" And
mm,
that was the moment that kind of clicked for me that it could be a beautiful experience. And I think that's been some of the framework that the people I work with, they're invited in because of the story, and it helps them own their story. So it took time. It took time to be able to stand in your truth, but as I always say, embrace what's in your heart.
mm.
And once I did, it's been very freeing, and it's impacted those I get to work with.
That's beautiful, and there's a sense in there. I just want to say I found the button, like, or like how you make comments show.
Oh, good.
I'm
Where is
so
that?
proud. I'm so proud. So
I'm,
thank
yeah,
you,
we did it with a
Matthew.
team
You
effort
just like
tonight
you just
getting
go
into
over
this.
the comments and you like click them, and then
Oh,
so thank
easy.
you, Matthew. It's so true.
Yes, thank you. Let me,
Oh.
Matthew. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew.
So what I hear from your story is that you found the courage to also believe that your story was worthy to share, and that your message and your understanding, it has impact in the world. And that seemed to be so much about just understanding our worth. Because it's about giving ourselves permission. I exited a very toxic marriage for 10 years of abuse, and after it took I'm just 2 years past that. I still get to give myself permission, and it all comes down to me understanding that I'm worthy of claiming that space. And my story and my message does have impact, and it really has so far.
Yes.
I don't think I still understand just how much.
And it will continue. I mean, because as you own your story, as you heal through your story, because our stories are also powerful because they help heal us. Because when we are able to share that, it helps heal others. And it will continue to have impact in ways that probably you can't imagine now, or it will just evolve as it needs to. And I've had the same experience. It's really moving. It's very moving.
And I love to say that it truly echoes through lives. Like when we work with people and when we are in the business of healing people, it echoes through lives. And, that's going to make that person go home and treat someone else differently.
Absolutely.
I believe it echoes through generations even. That's why I'm so excited about what we're doing within the breath framework and with Annie.
Yeah, I love that. And that's actually something I often will meditate on or think about, that the work that you do, the work that I do, the work that all these wonderful individuals who are watching now are doing, it impacts not just the immediate moment, but the generations that will follow. And it really has an impact in how they form, how they embrace life, how they live. And I think that's the mindset to have, because it really is powerful. It really, really is powerful. I love that too. I love that. So Jenny, of all the letters, the breath framework, I know Annie's so great about talking about it and different things, and each letter stands for a framework to live through as we go through and we exhale. What letter tonight is kind of resonating for you?
Tonight, it's about allow, not control. But I have a twist to this.
Okay.
It's in a way, yes, of course.
I was just going to say, I was expecting something. Yeah, of course.
It's in a way that we don't usually talk about it, because usually when we talk about allowing things, we're talking about the things that might be upsetting, the things that, we have the sense that it's not going our way, and we learn to allow it. But I'm telling you, when you have gone through years of abuse, when you have gone through trauma treatment, there's also a place for allowing the good in your life. When you're used to things being unhealthy, there's a reshaping of your experience. There's a newfound appreciation for when things are truly going your way, when things are good, when you do get to catch your breath, when you do get to recover and rest, when it's not all drama. And I know so many people will relate to this from the experience of leaving toxic relationships, that sometimes it's about understanding and just allowing yourself to be in the goodness when things are going well for you. And I have just recently handed in some pretty heavy reports, and I've done some really heavy work. I've stayed up late writing. And now I'm at the other side of that, and I get to just relax and recover and allow that for myself without trying to, get into the next thing. Just allow the goodness to take place. I did good. Now I get to relax. I get to self-care. That's also allowing. So thank you so much for the question. And that's where I am in my jammies on the couch, midnight in Sweden.
I love it. Resting. And I like the flip. I like the twist, because I think what you raise is so beautiful, because so often we don't allow ourselves to be in the good moment or to feel good in that moment, that we have to keep thinking what's next, or to go what's next, or we're not worthy of it. That especially, like, just hearing what you were saying is, when we live in a mindset of tension or drama, you think when there's good, what's coming next? But to receive that and to allow it, and that just regenerates our energy and our joy and our focus. So I love that. That's really beautiful. Really beautiful.
Me too. And I'm getting there. I'm sure getting there.
Every day.
Yeah. Where are you, Brian? What's new in your life?
I would say, based on like that question, I would pick, it's reclaim your power,
Awesome.
And I love that one, because just recently, I was just really focusing on where I want to spend my energy and time even more. Where do I want to reclaim the power of my gifts, and where I want to be of service? And I think it's just a beautiful moment that all of us, especially when you're doing good, right? So many, I'm sure, can relate. You're doing so many good things, but every once in a while, you have to pause to reclaim where you want the focus and energy to be. And that's what I'm doing, and really focusing with intention around that, personally, professionally, how it's aligning. And that's a beautiful thing. But it's also humbling, because I think too, it's a sense of, you're supposed to have everything together, you know what I mean? And have it all kind of figured out, but that's not reality. And that's how you grow. So that's where I am.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it sounds like you're bringing the attention to the fact that sometimes it's also about balancing the good things, right?
Absolutely.
And you're driven, and there's so much that you want to take part in, and that's also an opportunity to come back to your own choices. When you see that the need is very great in the world, right? And reclaiming power is so much about stepping into our own choices.
Right.
And you have every reason to do that with a good conscience, because there's just a limit to us.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I'm so glad you're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And it's something that's joyful. It's not like it's sad, but I came to realize that this is a gift. And to allow, and now it's going back to allow, but allowing myself to take the space to reclaim the power and just be in it, versus trying to do everything or figure everything, but just be in that.
Yeah.
That's where it really comes to focus. Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah. And when I think about reclaiming my power, it is so much about being. Yes, it's about stepping into my choices and owning them. But if I'm not present with myself, if my mind is constantly with, what other people are choosing or doing, or how they're behaving, their own their decisions, then I will just lose track on what's before me and my sphere of influence, my sphere of control, and what I can actually do in my situation.
Right.
Yeah. That's.
It's just really, I think it's really true. I like when you mention about control. I love to hear, I'm always in awe whenever I'm engaged with you on, when we did our coaching or meetings, there's always this peaceful presence with Jenny. you have 3 children, all in very close ages, the job, your other business and writing. How do you keep that presence when it's overwhelming? Like, what do you do to stay centered or bring back to a peaceful moment?
I accept the changes in my life. I accept people for who they are. I will accept myself for where I am, what I bring, my resources in that very moment. And accepting means that I'm letting go of the ideal of what it should look like.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am single parenting 3 children. They will call me momster. My kids call me momster because
I want to see that. I think everyone who's listening
Mama,
wants to
she
see that.
got this. However, I don't always feel like a momster. There's so like I have had this ideal of what my life should look like, and I do believe that what's allowing me to step into enjoying so much, like all the things that you listed, like I enjoy them so much. I enjoy writing. I enjoy the presence on LinkedIn. I enjoy my network and all the people that I get to support. And that comes from letting go of really unrealistic ideals that I had, especially growing up about what life should look like. Yeah, that resonates.
Yeah, very much so. You know, it's funny too I like what you said about what you think life should look like, you know, and I think that's something that I think I saw a quote on Saturday. Someone posted on LinkedIn, and it was about Abraham Hicks, who said, you know, your life doesn't start when you retire. Your life's not starting when you get the best job or you get the love of your life. It's now. It's in the moment now. And I think our life is now, like you just said, it's in that moment, not what you think it should be or different things, and allowing yourself to be there. And how you get back to that center of peace is really important. And you know, it's interesting. I was working with a new client this week, and she's an executive who just got a new job, and I taught her one of my little breathing techniques, you know, which, you know, we you know, at the beginning of the session, and
I know.
Yeah, you know them, we do them, and she was really glued into it. And I said, you know, you can do this in a meeting. And she was like, what do you mean? And I said,
Yes, we
no one
can.
needs to know. But if you're in that moment and you're just overwhelmed, you can do this very quietly. And I said, that will get you back to a center of peace to get reconnected. And I think it's those little moments that I treasure the most during the day. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. 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 The future doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The past doesn't exist. What exists is this very moment. And I like to say that. I think this is even a quote from one of my books. I'm not keeping track these days, but it's about like we can never control our future. We create it by being present in this very moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that creation of things, that creation piece.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also connected to gratitude. It's when I'm present with the little things, like that painting that my kid will bring me,
Right.
or them wanting to stop on our way, on our walk, to point out that flower or that tree or that dog or something on our way that I am just not, you know, present enough to see. It's our presence in the little things that makes them extraordinary.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it helps us also be present for people around us, you
Yes.
know, and I think it's something that, you know, I live right in the city, and it's busy, right? There's a lot going on, but I find you'd be amazed, you know, how lonely people are. And I think, you know, you can encounter that when you're out. You know, people are sometimes just saying hello or a smile, how people will engage, and in being present in that moment can really change someone. I think sometimes we think we have to, be these superstars all over the world to make impact, but it can just be smiling at someone, saying something, offering a kind word. Because when you're present, you bring that. And I'm just that's something I see all around me at different moments. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that because it's so close to home. You don't need a master's degree to be in the business of healing people.
No.
Because people start to heal when they are seen and when they are heard. And we all have that within our power, just walking out our door to greet our neighbor and really see them. It's such a power. And that's why I love my expertise is in leadership and communication. And the more I learn about communication, the more power I sense in my life.
Tell me more. Tell us more. I love that line. You can't just end it there, Jenny. That's a great line.
How much time we have?
Of a book. That's not another chapter of a book.
Yeah. There's just understanding how connected we are and how we receive, we interpret what we think other people think of us. Our thoughts and how they see us and how they view us, and we internalize that into our own self-image. We have such power in other people shaping their story of themselves. And you can show them what story to tell. That's life-changing. It's from the roots. It echoes through generations. What you tell people, if you teach them their worth, they're going to go out and do greatness.
Absolutely. And I think that is like what you said, it's in the roots. When you're rooted in truth and you're rooted in beauty, you're rooted in confidence, you're rooted in that, you believe it. And those roots go deep and powerful. You can also be rooted in, a self-loathing, a disbelief of yourself as well. If, those stories that are told, but when we really do root and help plant that deeply in others, it's quite powerful. And that is just transformative.
Yeah. And it's not just in what we say to them. It's how we treat ourselves. As we begun with giving ourselves permission to share our story, to show up authentically, like our true selves in the world, that is going to support other people in giving themselves permission to do the same. And we don't even have to speak it. We just walk out our door and we live it day to day. And it has major impact, more than we realize.
Absolutely.
It's always encouraging.
Yeah, because people feel it. People feel it. They feel that energy. They feel that being. Yeah, I love that. I really love that. So speaking of creating, I saw one of your posts recently, I think it was just recently, something about preparing for the holidays, like Halloween is over, something about Christmas. It looks like, you're like the department stores, right? Like, they start decorating immediately. And all of a sudden I'm like, this is the first holiday post I'm seeing. So
I like to be first.
It must be the Scandinavian winter that starts so early. You're like ready. So is that a big part of your life with your family right now, creating for the holidays and how you bring that in?
Yeah, it is. It's a way to connect with my kids. And yes, in Sweden, right now it starts going dark around 4. So it's never too early,
right?
To get out those candles, those those decorations, and really, yes, I Christmas decorated today. And yes, I'm owning it because my kids need their joy. So we're just gonna bring in the big guns.
That's fun. That's very fun. It's funny you say that because I was telling my partners that we're going to be away for the holidays and then into January. And I said, you know what? I'm still going to put the Christmas tree up. Like, I still want to put the Christmas tree up, even though when we come back, it's going to be like end of January, because there is something festive and there's something creative. And I think that's beauty. And however people express that, you know, in their life, but taking that time to create in the home and create with those you love, there's tremendous beauty with that. And I think that's what caught me with your post. It was so creative and it was simple and it was beautiful. And I think sometimes, going back to something we said earlier, keeping it simple is so rich.
Yeah. Oh, you have such a gift for encouragement, Brian. I just want to pause and reflect that on you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it is about the connectedness. It's about being together, and it's what we've been becoming aware of through the pandemic that we so long for.
Yes.
So this Christmas year or this Christmas season might be crazier than ever because like we really know what it's about now, don't we?
Yeah, totally. Because last year it was very hard to to travel and see family, and that thirst to connect and to be creative. Yeah, it's really powerful. Yeah, it's really, really powerful. So what has been one of your favorite things in going through the framework? What has been something that you've learned going through the framework that has shifted for you?
Oh my goodness. There's been so many lessons on the way. I sense the respect and the love from everybody involved. And my answer is not going to be a specific letter. It's about the people for me. That's been the more transforming part for me. Recognizing that what I bring and what I share and the authenticity and the vulnerability that I love to enter with, that it's appreciated and that it's welcomed and that it's loved by the people involved. That's my most, that's my honest answer. And of course, I'm going to ask you the same. What's
I would say I can sum up in one word, and it's unconditional.
Yeah.
I think that's been really special from the very beginning, that being invited in was a sense of, we're seeking you because of your unique gifts, and we want you to intuitively lead into doing this. And that's beautiful. I mean, so often, right, when we're asked to collaborate and be part of something, you want to be fixed into something. They want to form you, they want to teach you, they want to be in a certain way. And no, they said, this is something that we're seeking each person because of their unique gifts and to bring that in. And because of that, there's this sense of being unconditional, that you can be truly who you are. You can be in your story. You can share from your heart. And I think that's a gift now more than ever. That is something that the world needs, especially, those who are in the professional world that may feel really challenged right now as they go back to work or different things, to be able to bring that light, that presence, to help others feel unconditional. That's just been a real gift. And and to meet others that feel that, that's priceless.
That's priceless. And acknowledging and having the wisdom to accept that we are all on our own healing journeys. Because I've had conversations with coaches that are, they experience shame in the fact that they're also learning, that they're also growing, that they're also, there's always another bump on the road or another level,
right.
In our lessons. And there's such peace in recognizing that, no, that's the main,
right.
That's the main thing for us to accept and acknowledge and appreciate, that we are on our own journeys. And we are ourselves works in progress, and there's a humility and an appreciation for humanity in that regard, and an acceptance for one another. And as we show up on our meetings, there's sometimes there's tears and sometimes there's joy, and it just is, and we get to share that. Like, it's about sharing and experiencing the journey together.
Yeah, it's
And so many
beautiful.
lessons on that road.
Absolutely. And I think you raise a good point too, that, you
Thank you, Brian.
teach, you teach where you are. You
Yeah.
teach where you are. And, all of us are growing. All of us are always healing and evolving, to use a term I always love. And that's a gift. That's a miracle. Like, that's something I came to realize recently too. Some areas that I'm looking at in my own life, I'm like, no, it's a miracle. It's a miracle that you can evolve and grow from this, heal from this, and it will impact even more. And so I think there's no shame with that. It's actually quite freeing. So I think that's really, really beautiful. Wow.
Yeah. And there's always room for holding space for other people in their experience. It's about me, and also it's not about me,
Right.
It's about holding that space for each other so that everybody's seen and heard. And when that's how we enter a coaching session, when that's how we greet another person, it's always about acknowledging. We don't always have to agree on things. It's about witnessing. It's about seeing, appreciating people for where they are in their journey. We can always have that. We can always share that.
Yeah, it's at the heart of being who we are as humans.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness, this hour has passed.
It's flown by. It's been beautiful. It always is. And so, final words as you go to sleep tonight. What is one thing you're grateful for from today?
I'm so grateful for being able to reach you and everyone listening, and the people commenting and engaging from Sweden. Just that, not too long ago, this wouldn't have been possible. So just that sense of together, I'm just bringing that with me as I go to sleep. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
And connect with me. If we're not already connected, then I'd love to have that personal experience with you.
Absolutely.
How about you, Brian?
I would say the same. One of the things I'm really grateful for is the ability to connect. And I think, the pandemic was so challenging for every person in different ways. But one of the tremendous gifts really was, I'm so grateful for LinkedIn and, for this incredible opportunity of connecting globally. And I think it's just really beautiful because there's tremendous power and energy when you're connected throughout the world. And I'm so grateful for that. And I welcome to hear from anyone. If we're not connected, we need to be connected. And it'd be a joy to hear from you. And thank you for everyone who joined tonight, who's live or who is watching this on the replay. Thank you. Thank you. Jenny, what a joy to be with you. Thank you for staying up late in your PJs from Sweden. And I'm glad your house is all decorated for holidays. That's going to be a nice, cozy way to fall asleep. Wonderful.
Beautiful. Thank you, Brian, for being on top of things. And we did make it in here, and it's been a beautiful way to end this day and enter the next one. So
absolutely.
I will talk to you soon.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much, Jenny. Always a joy. Goodbye to everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.